How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Sunday evening, IPL cricket everywhere. As the finishing touches are applied at the Wankhede between MI and LSG, we look forward on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout to a top-of-the-table clash. RCB looking for some payback over the Delhi Capitals. KL Rahul was at his home ground, now Virat Kohli is at his, that and so many subplots as we build up to that game at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. The panel is still intact. What a privilege. Mrs. Kumble, Bangar, Jaffer, I feel like the fifth owner of Punjab Kings today. Only the difference is that your word is final over here, not mine.
Ooh. No, it's nice to be amongst my colleagues here, cricketing colleagues. For once, I think I'm with two Indian cricketers along with you.
That is it. We believe in an all-Indian contingent. If you get your Indians right in the IPL, then you can win the IPL. That is even my philosophy. And on that lovely note, why don't we discuss the teams that are in action today? Delhi Capitals, is it fair to say that's a team that's been carried by a lot of good, strong Indian performances? Yes, there's a Mitch Starc, but Axar Patel, the captain, KL Rahul's form. They must be so pleased after a new management and a new captain. You guys can all relate to it, how tough it might be. But Delhi, what's been the most impressive part for you, Anil?
I think the start, it always helps when you have that kind of a start to your campaign. When you're down and out and then suddenly your impact player comes in and then he wins you the game with a rookie, uncapped Indian bowler who can bat. He goes there and then gets that quick fire 30 or whatever it was in that first game, and then they were down and out. When you win that kind of a game and then you get 2 points, suddenly things start to happen for you. But yes, the personnel is there available with Delhi Capitals, with Faf not being there for a few games. That certainly upset their rhythm. But then when KL Rahul came back after that first game, and it was outstanding to just see how Delhi Capitals have ensured that they remain in that top two positions. And the bowling attack is really good.
I think if we put the theme together for both these teams, it's key decisions taken even before a ball was bowled in the season. And one of those decisions, Sanjay, would have been appointing Axar Patel as captain. We thought maybe they'll go KL Rahul. They appointed Faf as vice captain, but Axar, the captain, how much of a stamp on this team is his and his own performance?
I think the thought process there was, let's go with the system that we already have, or let's look at people who were working for Delhi Capitals, and that's where even somebody like Hemang getting that promotion was fantastic. Venugopal Rao getting a good say in the decision-making process, and then because Axar Patel had played for them, so continuity does really seem to be the key there, and it has worked for them. And Axar Patel, for all you know, is not a guy who's led the team even at first-class level consistently. So he's got galvanized the group really together, and seems to have shown no added responsibility or burden of captaincy. He's enjoyed cricket, he's enjoyed doing what he does best, and that certainly has helped them form a really good, formidable unit in this season so far.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm glad Sanjay brought up coaches, Indian coaches. We often tend to put a spotlight on a lot of the foreign coaches. In Delhi, of course, the work is done by the Indian coaches. Mentor goes to Maldives for 1 or 2 weeks, as KL Rahul rightly told us. Mentors are always easier jobs, no, Mr. Jaffer?
I don't know, I haven't done it at the IPL level.
Okay, but let's also speak on RCB's position in the table right now, where they stand. They won a toss, by the way, and they're going to bowl first. Their travelling record is it's perfect. They won everything, and the fact that they're chasing, is that actually already a big decision in this close game, who wins the toss at Delhi?
I think so. But in Delhi, teams who have batted first, they have won the most times. That's what I have heard. So that's interesting. But I think whenever RCB has chased, they chased it very comfortably with the batters coming to the party. Virat has done what he does best. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of an advantage towards RCB, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, 5 games, and yes, you're right, by batting first. But this season, the 2 games, one was the LSG-MI game, sorry, the Delhi-MI game, which ended bizarrely with 3 runouts. The other, as you would know, would be the super over against Royal. So there is perhaps some context to say that it's still a chasing ground, the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Does anybody agree?
I mean, because it's a small boundary, you sort of think or tend to think that chasing perhaps could be easier, and if Dew comes in, then of course disadvantage to the team that bowls second. However, you still have to sort of bat really well.
Right, let me spin it around, Anil. Would RCB welcome this as a result to the top?
Yes,
they
I think
seem like
so.
such a good chasing.
Yeah, they prefer chasing. You know, they're used to that. Even at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, that's something that they're used to. Because I think while batting first, the onus entirely shifts on one player. While chasing, it's not so much because, you know, everyone else knows the target. While they're batting first, Virat has to bat through. Otherwise, you know, the batters around him are all stroke makers and they tend to sort of force things. And that's what happened at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, where the pitch wasn't really ideally suited for them, especially when they batted first.
All right, before I get some more team news, and we'll wait to see if any changes made, whether Faf du Plessis is fit and returns, any changes from RCB, that in a few minutes, while MILSG continues to play out at the Wankhede, you'd think favourably for Hardik Pandya's side. Let's spend some time on RCB's decisions that have really paid off this season, a team that's under the scrutiny every year, fan expectation and all that, and they have an identity of a team with batters. But as we sit today and we see them in the top half, I think everybody's backing them to finish in the top 4, but for something outrageous. And let's go to what they got right at the auction in terms of Salt, Padikkal, the spinners, Krunal, Suyash Sharma. If you have to analyze those decisions now with so much information in the season, what's the biggest tick for you, Sanjay?
The biggest tick for me is that they've gone to experienced Indian players and players who played for the country. Now here you have Krunal Pandya, international experience, Rajat Patidar, same case. Devdutt Padikkal played a couple of tests very recently. So is the case with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So very often teams which have a lot of current or players who represented the country end up doing really well. So I think this is the first time wherein they've got to pick those sort of players and haven't really gone so much into that uncapped Indian players category, and that has worked beautifully for them.
Same question to both of you. Wasim, what's different about this RCB team, looking at how their auction went?
I think they've invested in different departments. Krunal, for that matter, left arm spinner, getting paid so much. He's a good all-rounder, even though his batting hasn't come good, but he's somebody who can come and bat at number 5, number 7, number 8, can chip in. He's done that for MI, but he hasn't done that. Suyash Sharma was a surprise. He's a great pick. Josh Hazelwood, Bhuvi, great buy. So I think they've, invested in an all-round team and not just like, yesteryears where they only invested in top half and everything else is dependent on the batting. So I think they've got it right. I think the way they made Rajat Patidar the captain as well, I think that was a big call. Yeah, I remember I was playing the Mushtaq Ali and I got a call from their scouts, how he is captained against us. They won MP won a very tight game. So they kind of, working their way out, because I think Jitesh was also in the contention of leading. But they made Rajat Patidar. So those are the big calls and I think they've got most of them right.
So RCB scouts called you just to get some information on how has Patidar the captain done when you were coaching against him in Mushtaq Ali.
So that was like, they were very in-depth. Dinesh Karthik was also, played a lot of role because a lot of their batters were going and, working out with Dinesh. I'm sure most of the other teams also do that, but he spent a lot of time with them.
What did you say, Wasim? When they called you and said, how did Patidar captain? What was your recommendation? Was it a glowing recommendation?
No, I think he did well. So I said what I saw.
That's the weight of Wasim's recommendation.
So they have you to thank in many ways for that big decision.
I just have a little bit of a, not a spin, but then, certainly their approach to auction was obviously looking at 7 matches at the Chinnaswamy Stadium.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of bowling attack that they wanted to choose because you have Hazelwood, Bhuvneshwar Kumar who swings the ball. Ideally, get a couple of batters early in the power play because at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, if the pitch is flat, you need wickets in the power play. Otherwise, you're struggling. You're struggling to defend or even look to sort of keep the opposition down. So, getting Krunal Pandya, of course, he has the experience. He bowls that much quicker. He's a smart cricketer. He knows how to bowl in the power play. He's done that for Mumbai Indians, for LSG.
Yeah.
And of course, he has that wealth of experience of bowling in those areas. One aspect probably going in favor of Suyash Sharma is the speed at which he bowls. At the Chinnaswamy Stadium, if he can bowl slightly back of a length, which is his natural length, maybe that's one of the reasons why they went for a Suyash instead of others. And then you would also think that going by the purse, you would hope that a Suyash would not really go too far away from you at the auction table. So that's one of the reasons. And
they did put in bids for Chahal, but Chahal was obviously going to be a much more expensive leggy.
Expensive, yeah. So they got what they wanted. So probably that was one of the reasons. But at the auction table, if they had gone sort of got a Venkatesh Iyer because they were really seriously after him, then I don't think any of these conversations would have happened, because you wouldn't have got even Hazelwood or any other.
This is very good that you bring that up, because Mr. Bangar rightly says outcome driven. Everything in T20 cricket is outcome driven.
Yes.
And while we saw the numbers, Krunal, 12 wickets puts him up there with Kuldeep and Noor Ahmed. So he's become an attacking spinner for them. And we're saying what a great well-rounded team they have. But had the auction gone differently, Devdutt Padikkal was in the accelerated round, wasn't he? So would you call that a well-thought plan or just a little bit of luck?
See, at that time, when it gets to that accelerated process, you are literally, running for cover, because you would have thought that, okay, we have missed some players and we need to fill some spots as well. So at that point in time, I think what they were lacking was a left-hander batsman in the top, because having Phil Salt at the top and Virat at the top, Rajat Patidar again, a similar sort of a player, Livingston coming, Jitesh. So they clearly lacked a left-hand option, and that's why they went to Devdutt Padikkal. Having a past experience of how he did well for them must have also weighed in, as also a local boy, because that's always good to have some local flavour to the team as well.
I'm just trying
That's one grouse that I've always had with RCB, that they've never gone after a local player.
Karnataka player.
Throughout the last 10 years, they've been barely any Karnataka player. Sort of having that is a big thing for Karnataka and also for RCB. I mean, you sort of identify, and that's probably one of the emotions that you saw with KL Rahul after that innings, in the last game when they played RCB.
Yeah, I mean, and Padikkal was someone who made his name here, and you could have thought that's a player we can keep, but I guess you took a decision to let him go based on form, but that's an important aspect, you think?
Yeah, it is.
Create an identity of the
Karnataka has a great legacy of, doing really well in domestic circuit, and you have enough players to bank on, and unfortunately, someone like even a Vaishak Vijay Kumar, who's now played just that one game for GT, played really well for RCB. He was not retained. He was not. So yes, there's been a bit of a thing, but RCB certainly, with that confidence that Devdutt Padikkal has shown, I think he's flourished under this franchise, and he's really batted really well in the few games that he's had.
I guess that also vindicates their retention policy, where it was just Kohli, Patidar and Yash Dayal, wasn't it? They let Siraj go, and we were thinking, how could you let Siraj go? There was a case perhaps to think of whether they could have had one more overseas just to give them more of a core. But that's a punt that's paid off. A lot of teams that actually kept the core have struggled this year. SRH, CSK, Rajasthan Royals. So RCB, how much would you give their coaching credit in this case? Because a lot of these decisions, I'm sure, have taken even before a captain's appointed.
I mean, Siraj obviously had, he could have been retained for a simple reason that what he had done for them over the years. But again, like Anil Bhai said, if Venki Iyer was bought, a lot of this talk wouldn't have happened. So again, they were lucky they didn't have Venki Iyer, and they had the purse to buy all these players.
Yeah. All right. So they basically need to thank the Knight Riders and Wasim Jaffer for two key decisions that went in favor eventually, with the wisdom of hindsight, in favor of RCB. It'll be a great watch, this game. You just feel like there's something about it, especially when there was that emotion involved when KL got the winning runs at the Chinnaswamy. Now Kohli at least have the chance for it. If you like a pinch of drama like I do, let's confirm the teams. Does Faf du Plessis return to face the side that he captained with such efficiency? Indeed he does. So Faf is in, full complement of 4 overseas, not something DC have done often, but Mitch Starc and Dushmantha Chamira are both named over there. Now this is the batting first 11, which curiously doesn't have Ashutosh Sharma in the starting lineup. Let's get reactions on that. Mr. Bangar?
I think they've enough bowling options there. So if you look at 6 bowling options, so if required, they can certainly sub out one of the earlier batters. So Karun Nair may be subbed out and Ashutosh could be gotten in, and they still have plenty of bowling options. So that could be a strategy. And if the batting does perform well and they don't require Ashutosh Sharma, then they have the option to have another spin option as well.
It seems like good use of the impact sub, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, it's good to. I'm sure they'll welcome Faf du Plessis because I think this is their best batting order. At KL at 4, Karun at 3, I think is a really good batting order.
Yep, you go with that. That this is actually the ideal batting position. It looked like Porel and Nair were slightly out of position opening, if I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, you will always welcome Faf back because he was in a good form. So I think Karun. I always wanted Karun to play because the kind of form he carried throughout the season. KL is batting beautifully, so I think it's probably one of the best batting lineups. And Ashutosh, if he comes in, nothing like it.
All right, that's strong team, and they'd be welcoming Faf back at what's now the business end of the league, and hope that they can secure not just a top 4 but a top 2 spot. His first assignment is against RCB. What about RCB today? They made an interesting swap with their overseas. They left out Liam Livingston and brought in Romario Shepherd, but there's no Phil Salt, which is big breaking news from Delhi. I believe he's got fever. Delhi belly, perhaps, for Phil Salt. But Jacob Bethel will play his first game in the IPL. Highly rated English all-rounder. For now, we've listed him right at the top along with Virat Kohli.
But this is the bowling 11. So Devdutt may open with Virat Kohli. So I think that would be the swap. And Jacob Bethel, of course, is a useful batsman at number 5. So Patidar and Jitesh could be moved up the order, keeping Bethel at 5 and Tim David and Krunal to follow at 6 and 7.
I can tell you Matt Roller, our man at Delhi today, is working hard and giving us some info. He says Bethel has opened before in T20s, but his success so far has been numbers 4 to 6. He might even slot in at 3 with DDP to open, as Mr. Bangar has already said. And the RCB player identification lead, Malolan Rangarajan, said yesterday that Bethel is a genuine superstar in the making on how his training sessions have gone with the team. Can you make such an assessment after training sessions, superstar in the making?
No, I mean, he's a gun fielder. We saw that in the last game. He came in as a substitute and saved a couple of runs for RCB. But, I mean, you're constantly watching your training sessions as well, just in case something goes wrong, like how it happened today. Who's the next option that you can rely on? Maybe, with the all-round option of a Bethel, he gives you a few overs as well. They have taken that option.
I wonder though, but Phil Salt is a big part of how RCB just get into gear. Big miss today, no?
Very big miss, yeah. Again, he's the top buy in the auction as well.
Yeah.
And, the kind of starts that he gives and, get them ahead of the game. So he'll be missed for sure.
Yeah, I believe he's also got good numbers, Jacob Bethel, that is, against spin. Strike rate over 145, average of 52, and took down Adam Zampa last year. So his challenge against Kuldeep Yadav and Axar Patel. We wait to see how that goes in the chase. For now, we focus on the DC captain, because Axar Patel has been a real story. One thing has been captaincy this season, the familiarity that Sanjay Bangar spoke of, but it's not affected his own form. He's slowly done his job with the ball. He's been tactically sharp, but with bat, have you missed a few things perhaps? Some key numbers will tell us that Axar Patel is actually striking spin second only to Nicholas Puran. Strike rate of just over 200, which is quite something. It took me by surprise. I know he's a fine player, but has his spin hitting gone to a new level in this year's IPL?
He always possesses those qualities right from a very young age, but I think getting more opportunities and also expecting a lot out of yourself, because it's one thing people talking around you that what they expect of you to do, but the real challenge and the real step up is when the players himself starts to believe or starts to expect things of himself, and that's what I believe, that having got that additional responsibility of captaincy and not getting enough contributions at the top of the order from Fraser McGurk and KL not being available for initial 2 games must have certainly egged him on
Yeah,
a
so
little
the captaincy has brought out the best in
course,
Axar,
yes.
you're saying, as a personality. CSK, we're thinking this is what we want our old man to do as well. You know, our left arm spinner Jadeja should be batting 4. At times we used to say Axar batting 4 is a bit too high. I don't think there is anymore. Would you agree?
No, because even in the Indian team, he was moved up the order. He batted ahead of KL Rahul in the Champions Trophy, and so I guess that's kind of sort of the position that the team has taken. And I remember that was it last year or a couple of years ago when they were struggling, and he was the only batter who was sort of scoring all those runs for DC. We kept saying, why can't you send Axar up the batting order, because he's your main batter. He was batting too low in that batting order. So he's the captain. He's realized that, look, let me take the bull by the horns, not delegate. That's something that, hopefully Rishabh unfortunately did that last game, but this game he batted at 4. So Axar certainly thinking that, look, I'm the captain, let me go and take the take the bowlers on.
There's a whole book to be written about Rishabh Pant and his decisions on batting orders. He was his captain as well back at Delhi Capitals. But from the batting coach, I really want to spend a little more time on what about Akshar's batting actually allows him to be a dominant spin hitter, something that even after all these years we don't quite associate with Jadeja, we don't associate with every left-hander. I think Venki Iyer, we said, doesn't have great spin hitting ability, but Axar seems to. Why?
I think that's the role I think the Indian team also has given him. He bats at number 4 and 5 for them. Remember that World Cup final where he got important runs, and I think his ability to strike against spin has been really good. He's got a really good batting arc, and then the flow that he has, and he picks up spin really well. Whether going towards leg side or even offside. So he's a very free flowing player, and I think he believes in himself that he could do it. Yeah. He comes in and strikes it from ball 1. So he's not somebody who requires a bit of time. Sure. He's somebody who can come in and give you runs straight away. So, and I think he's taken that role and does it perfectly.
You think this is more about him having a better technique, or is it just how he's sort of made up upstairs, where he doesn't overcomplicate it? He can actually take the spinners down first ball, which we've seen a lot of other players aren't necessarily, they might have the game, but they don't necessarily take those decisions.
He's got excellent reach. He's a tall guy, excellent reach. And in T20 cricket, because the ball doesn't spin that much, you can play through the line as well. So that certainly helps. And if a player is open to take a few more risks rather, those risks certainly come off, and on some of the grounds which are smallish grounds. And just remember, most of the games that Axar has played, the home games, are on small grounds, say Visakhapatnam or also Delhi. So that could also be one of the factors why he's got those fantastic returns.
Okay.
Just to add to that,
Please.
I mean, he's developed his game in domestic cricket. I mean, first class cricket, he's a player who probably developed his game playing spin a lot more than the faster bowlers, and then once he got into the international arena, he's developed his game around the faster bowlers, whereas it's the other way around for a whole lot of T20 players.
And I think what you said is very right. He doesn't complicate things. He's very uncomplicated player, and that shows in his captaincy as well.
Yeah.
He's very versatile. He's not one-dimensional. So, he's willing to do things which are not, book written or things like that. So he sometimes comes and bowls 4 overs straight away. Doesn't bowl sometimes. So he's very uncomplicated.
He's good Indian spinners eventually get runs with the bat, get test hundreds as well. And as we know very well, Mr. Kumble is sitting there. But yeah, Axar Patel, it's been his season. What he'd love is to keep winning, to take Delhi to the playoffs. For now, they need to get the first 6 right after RCB put them in. Maruti Suzuki Arena presents Power Play Conversations. Okay, let's break down tactics now. Hazelwood has been used interestingly, not right up with the new ball at times, Yash Dayal. Now you've got Faf du Plessis and Abhishek Porel. What should be the tactical play from RCB? Anil?
Yes, certainly Bhuvi at the start, and then Hazelwood at least, just that 1 over to see what's happening with the pitch, and then get your spinners on, get Krunal Pandya. I know there's a left-hander there, but he's bowled well. I don't think, I know the analyst will say it's not a matchup, but you have an option there.
I know the analyst has said many times, Krunal has actually got better numbers against left-handers than most left-arm spinners, for what it's worth. But they have enough good seam bowling options to throw at them. I believe they have the best economy and the most wickets as a bowling side, which would be so pleasing for the RCB faithful. these kind of returns. How would you like to see them go? Bhuvi first and then?
I would go Yash Dayal because the ball angling across Faf du Plessis has always troubled him, and RCB team management would know that because he's played a lot for RCB. So I would go Yash Dayal first, maybe 2 from Bhuvi, 1 from Yash, and then take it from there.
How do you see Delhi playing this? Are we expecting a ultra aggressive approach? I mean, Karun Nair came in with a point to prove in his first game here. He's back at number 3 today. What is their method against this pretty strong bowling lineup?
Well, I think they'll look to get close to 60 runs in the power play without losing too many wickets. I mean, that's the ideal start. Karun Nair has settled down. After that first game, in the second game, he's played very sensibly. So he can play both game. And Rahul, it's interesting to see how Rahul plays. It's always a question mark because whether he comes in and plays aggressively or he takes the game deep. But I think the both openers are going to go aggressive approach for sure.
Lots of Karnataka boys in the Delhi team, Mr. Kumble, now that I think of it. No, Karun Nair and KL Rahul. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that I can find over there.
Yeah, I mean, good players find themselves in a team.
Okay, let's quickly get first innings predictions and then we can wrap up the afternoon game, which I can tell you, gentlemen, is now done. MI won by 54, but first innings score, good bowling attack, Delhi in good form, this should be tough. Anil?
Yeah, I think I'll go with the morning score as well, afternoon score of 2-1-2.
Oh, you very good one to you.
Yeah, it was pretty close, so I'll go with the same
2-1-2, okay. Mr. Bangar?
I'll go 190.
190? Yeah. Seems like a very par score over there. Mr. Jaffer, you lowballed in the afternoon. Would you like to go higher in the evening?
I'm going to go higher, yeah, 205.
205, all right.
Oh, he's
You
gone
switched.
Yeah.
Switched.
So, he'd given a prediction of 187.
80 odd, yeah.
187.
205 was my prediction. So we've
You'll have flipped it
I've
around.
stuck to the same.
Yeah, so between somebody, Anil's returns will be the same then, I would think. We'll find out. But 190 to 200 odd is hell of a game to watch when two teams are in form. So that's what we think will happen in Delhi. Let's just recap what's happened now and completed at Mumbai, where I can tell you the eventual margin of victory for Mumbai Indians is 54 runs. So that now I think we can fairly say is a hammering. I think Sanjay said might be close, and even Anil, I thought you said it'll be comfortable, but this is now just blowing them away. And can we say that they got this game done with the early wickets that they took of Lucknow's strong batting?
Yeah, I mean, we always knew that it's the top three which is going to get closer or eventually win for LSG because they have sort of been the torch bearers. I mean, Nicholas Pooran's wicket was the big one. I mean, Will Jack's first ball, I mean, Nicholas Pooran, either it was we were just talking there, just at the start of the over, either it's a 36 or a first ball. And first ball he got out. So that's how he looks at spinners. So he'll look to take them on. I think even the next game, if they come together like that, he will take him on. So I think that's where the game went. And disappointing again with Rishabh Pant.
Yes.
He had an opportunity. First ball went for 4. The second ball again, we spoke about it. Sanjay said that he should look to hit straighter rather than play all those cheeky ones, especially at the start. It's just a matter of spending 10, 12 balls. And today was an ideal scenario for him. Good pitch, know the bowlers, you've played them many times. It's the same kind of, same bowlers bowling at you in the nets, and unfortunately,
yeah, I think there's a lot to go deeper in with especially with Pant. But on Will Jacks, it's amazing. It's almost like Maxwell and Livingston, where there are more returns coming when he gets the ball rather than when he gets the bat. Or is there more to Will Jacks, the off spinner? Am I not doing him justice?
a much improved bowler, I would say, because he was picked first by RCB.
Correct.
And because of his batting abilities, and at that point he had also picked up a 5-4 in Test cricket. So he's working on his bowling, but now it seems that it's coming out of his hand quite consistently and getting to grip and turn as well. So that puts doubts in the batter's mind as well. One which spun was against David Miller when he was bowling the third over. So clearly Mumbai Indians were brave, because not many teams have been willing to use spin against Nicholas Pooran, and that has reaped them good dividends.
Yeah, they've also came out almost ultra planned today in the first innings. Bolt came around the wicket, there was a field change almost every ball. Do you sense Mumbai just knew that all we need to do is get 2 out of these 3, Marsh, Makram, Pooran, and it's our game?
I thought they were rattled a little bit by the way Marsh started.
Yeah.
and they quickly got Jasprit in, and that maiden over that he bowled to Makram and also picked up his wicket was really critical in sort of halting their march in the first 6. So yes, I mean they are a very well prepared team, and they certainly come out with a lot of plans, and when those plans come good, it looks very good.
Plans help when you have Bumrah in those plans, no? 14 dot balls, Wasim, 4 for 22. Jasprit Bumrah things.
Yeah, I mean, he's best in the business, but he was there in the last season as well, but they finished last. So that can happen too.
What? Yeah, Wasim, completely pouring cold water on
No,
him.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You're right, you're right. He can't do everything, but yeah, when you have 200 plus.
He's the best in the business, without a doubt, getting that wicket of Makram. And then again, it puts pressure because you know that 4 overs is not going to get a lot of runs from Bumrah. So it makes even more difficult.
And another thing is that Mitchell Marsh really looked cooked at the end of his innings as well, 24 balls, 32. So at times, especially with overseas players playing in this particular heat, they would rather bat first than bat second.
And he has not fielded in any of these games. Of all the games to make him field, I wonder why LSG decided today, or maybe David Miller and him lost a toss.
Absolutely, that could have been a good, actually good discussion, because Miller gets enough time to rest. So if Miller was there, Marsh could have been on the bench, and then
yeah, and it's not that Mitch Marsh has been bowling at all. I mean, you're not even looking at him to bowl, so he's only batting.
And Miller is one of the best fielders in the world to add to that. So unless there was, like I said, maybe they just lost a toss against each other, Miller and Marsh, and one of them just went in, because it is a slightly concerning one. Bumrah's use of that pace off, he almost just knows what to do, I guess, if it's fair to say.
Oh, he's a class act. I mean, he's the best in the business. He knows exactly what to bowl when, and not just that, execute to perfection. I think that's the best part about him. If he bowls a Yorker, he knows that it'll certainly land. Very few times he's missed the mark. Even when he does the slower one, he barely misses the mark. He bowls in the right length.
He apparently bowled a brilliant slow ball Yorker to dismiss Samad while we were having a chat on the second game, but we know what Bumrah's slow ball Yorkers can be like. 4 for 22 for him. Trent bowled 3 for 20 of his 4, just bowled the 1 at the top. Let's go back to the Pant's discussion and whether this now effectively makes us feel like Lucknow are just going to fall away. There are more than 4 teams you can say better than them right now. But Pant still not being able to figure any form out after the huge price tag, new franchise, etc. Is there anything more to say that hasn't been said already?
He has to rework his methods. I mean, make no two ways about it. And if things are not working well, they are not working well for a reason. So you have to try and find out what's going on in his mind as well. It's not only about where he's batting at the moment, but wherever he's batting, he's getting out. So clearly, for him to introspect and to have some honest conversations.
What kind of personality is he, from everything that you know and pick up either directly with him or hearing from about him? When players go through a rut, it's often you tend to see what their constitution is upstairs. How do you sense he would be feeling or dealing with this?
Must be a tough one because for any guy who's playing in the IPL and a high stake tournament in the mix of things, big decision making as well. So he'll have to go to the guys whom he confides in, and he does confide in some very big names. So I think he should certainly seek their counsel a little bit.
Big names? Wasim, does he call you? No. Okay. But in all seriousness, what would be your one word of advice to Pant the batter?
They look to play, much straighter. We spoke about it. That's been his, the choices of shots or the options that he takes are very risky. And when things are not going well, they don't come good. And, you do look foolish. So, better off playing, down the ground. He can do that easily. When he's playing well, he does that. And second ball, it was, with 2 fielders there, looks like a very, very wrong option.
I was taking a lot of questions after Lucknow games previously saying that the best thing that fans were saying that the best thing that they can do to Pant the batter is relieve him of the burden of captaincy. I find this to be a trickier situation for Lucknow given all the big statement around getting him, face of the franchise, long-term project and all that. Otherwise, maybe if in any other situation, you have a Nicholas Puran, you have Aiden Markram, you have Mitch Marsh, you have guys who've captained their international sides before. But is that at any point a conversation worth entertaining?
Maybe not now, but yes, certainly. I'm sure if things go the way they are going for LSG, I'm sure those are conversations that the management will certainly have. Because I think when you're batting, you need to take the captaincy hat out of your head. You just have to go there as a batter. That's your primary role, why you've been picked, and not as a captain. Your primary role is to keep wickets and then to score runs as a batter. So it's very difficult. For some people it comes naturally. For some people they carry that burden. And for him, it's a new franchise. Of course, the price tag. Then suddenly, the entire team is new. He has to. Yes, of course. He's worked with Marsh before at Delhi, but it's important that he takes all of that out, and then like they've been saying, you need to start hitting it straight. Then you can do all that. But if your primary thought process is to hit to behind you, then your margin of error is very minimal.
Okay. Well, like you said, conversations that the franchise will have to have, hopefully behind closed doors at Lucknow Super Giants. We will find out. Now let's just recap the game in the afternoon, as the game in the evening is already underway. Rapid fire review, gentlemen. You know how this works. MI versus LSG. Anil, let's start with you. 4 for Bumrah, nailing his Yorkers, almost impossible to score off. Is he now bowling at his best again?
He is. He's coming back from an injury. He needed a bit of overs, but when you start winning, then naturally things start to come. And he's a class act, like I said. I mean, he won't let these kind of opportunities go. When you have nailed the opposition, he'll ensure that they remain there. He won't let them come back at you. So yes, Bumrah in good form really augurs well for Mumbai.
All right, Wasim, how impressive was Ryan Rickleton's takedown of the Lucknow spinners earlier today?
Very impressive. Somebody from South Africa playing spin really well. I think augurs well for Mumbai as well, because Rohit coming in form and Rickleton coming in form is very good signs.
All right, Sanjay, could Lucknow have used their bowling resources any differently to restrict Mumbai?
They could have used the 6 bowler a bit more. I mean, they didn't really use it. So use the 6 bowler whenever the opportunity comes. So when Rickleton was batting, they could have used Markram, and that would have taken a little bit of load of the bowler who might not have had a great day on that particular innings.
All right, Anil, first impressions on Mayank Yadav on his return from injury?
Very impressive. It's never easy. He's been out for a long time, and he's playing against Mumbai on a track which is more suited to batting. And to get Rohit and Hardik out, will certainly lift his confidence.
All right, Wasim, back to you. Vital runs, tidy bowling effort. Can Corbin Bosch actually become a handy overseas resource for Mumbai?
Yeah, why not? I think he did, did pretty well. Scored some handy runs back end of the innings, and I think he bowled decently as well. So yeah, he could be that guy.
Sanjay, were Puran and Marsh's runs earlier on in the season masking Lucknow's core issues?
The core issue is about the combination, but they've stuck to the same combination and what they believed in. So for me, it's not necessarily about their batting, but I think it's more to do with the kind of pressure that the Indian bowling puts on their batting as well. Because at times, if the bowling is really top notch, then they would be chasing 180 instead of 215, or also defending a little lesser score. So I think the batting is always under pressure.
All right, and finally 5 wins in a row now. Almost everything firing. Does it look like Mumbai Indians are aiming for the top 2? They are in second place as we speak. Anil?
No, everybody who's wanting to be a part of the qualifiers will be aiming at the top 2. And Mumbai Indians with 5 straight wins will certainly look to do that.
Are you saying they're looking good though for top 2?
Oh yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are certainly looking good. And the teams that they are going to play are I think, will certainly know that when they get there.
Anyone saying no top 2 for Mumbai? Top 2 for Mumbai for you with the way they're playing?
I think they've been in this territory for a long times, and I mean, having sensed or having smelled the coffee, they would not let this go.
Lovely.
Top 2 for MI.
I think they'll be disappointed if they don't finish on second after having such a good run.
All right, well, they do have a game against GT coming up, which should be fun. And they do have a couple of home games, and they're really dominating at home, unlike a lot of other teams. Right, gentlemen, this is where we try and focus on what looks like a nice steady start by the Delhi Capitals, where they're up to about 15 in 2 overs. Wasim, Jaffer, thank you very much. Sanjay, Bangar, Anil Kumble as well. Let's pick up the chat with these three wise men at the end of the Delhi Capitals innings. Join us then for Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Before we go though, ESPN Cricket Four's hunt for that next big passionate voice in cricket, our Fab Four. You've been seeing them on our shows in the last few days. That's of course Crickcaster powered by Nexa. And today we've got to Virat Kohli's home city. That's where the game is being played. And Palak Sharma, one of our Fab Four finalists, caught up with his childhood coach Rajkumar. Here we go with Palak and Rajkumar, and we'll see you at the end of the DC innings.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting France with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
स्टार के लिए एक स्टार वो होता है जिन्होंने उसे उस मंजिल तक का रास्ता दिखाया हो। जब खिलाड़ी की जीत पे लाखों लोग तालियां बजाते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं एक इंसान किसी कोने में चुपचाप मुस्कुरा रहा होता है। और मैं आज पलक शर्मा आपको मिलाने जा रही हूँ एक ऐसे ही शख्स से जिन्होंने हमें एक क्रिकेटर ने एक लेजेंड दिया, जिन्होंने इंडिया को दिया किंग कोहली। वी हैव विद अस राजकुमार शर्मा जी। हाय सर, कैसे आप?
गुड गुड, वेरी गुड।
9 साल की उम्र में विराट ने आपसे कोचिंग लेना शुरू किया। उस छोटे विराट के क्या सवाल रहते थे और आज के विराट जो लाखों लोगों की इंस्पिरेशन है, आज किस तरह की कन्वर्सेशंस होती है आप दोनों के बीच?
देखिए, जब वो 9 साल का बच्चा था तब वो एक बहुत शरारती बच्चा था, बट तब भी बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट था। आज भी वो उतना ही कॉन्फिडेंट है, लेकिन अभी ही इज अ मैच्योर्ड क्रिकेटर। ही हैज डन वेल फॉर हिमसेल्फ, ही हैज डन वेल फॉर द कंट्री।
और जो कहते हैं कि मुझे विराट कोहली बनना है, उन्हें आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
मेरा यही मानना है कि आपको विराट की तरह मेहनत करनी होगी और सेल्फ बिलीव रखना होगा, अपने ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस रखना होगा कि यस वी कैन डू इट।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू फॉर शोइंग अस कि ग्रेटनेस ना सिर्फ बनाई नहीं जाती, समझी जाती है, संभाली जाती है और चुपके से तैयार की जाती है।
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.